curious learner, so he loves Babbel's Culture Bites, full of insights and native knowledge about the language he's learning. Like, what's served for Christmas dinner in Germany?
Glühwein, Weihnachtsgans und Christmasstollen.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you text RADIO to 64,000. That's RADIO to 64,000. Text RADIO to 64,000.
Since 1886, it's been the two words we live by and the chant we live to cheer. Be here all season as the Jayhawks hit the turf.
Touchdown, Kansas!
Join us this Saturday as the Jayhawks battle the Oklahoma State Cowboys on homecoming. Our coverage begins at 1:30 on your home for Kansas Jayhawk football.
The Jayhawks play here. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
They hand it off to Devin Neal, rushing left side, gets to the edge, to the 15, the 10, the 5, touchdown, Kansas!
Kansas Jayhawk football on Sports Radio 810 WHB is presented by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City, Central Bank, and by Guaranteed Foods.
There's Luke Graham at the 45, the 40, inside the 30, all the way down to the 27-yard line.
Your home of the Jayhawks, Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Fall is officially here. You know what that means. Chilly nights, cozy sweaters, and the perfect time for a hot tub. Right now, Pro-Built Pool and Patio is heating things up, literally. Purchase any hot tub and you'll get a free premium grill. Choose between the amazing Ledge Green Mountain Pellet Grill or the powerful Rogue XT 525 Napoleon Grill. This offer is too hot to pass up. Stop dreaming and start soaking and grilling. Visit Pro-Built Pool and Patio today at 4708 Northwest Gateway Avenue in Riverside. Pro-Built Pool and Patio.
Why run all over town when you can fix it all in one place? At Elite Dent Repair, they do it all. Hail damage, door dings, minor collision, and paint work. Need more? They've got paint protection film, ceramic coating, full detailing, and window tinting. It's your one-stop shop for making your car look and feel brand new. And the best part? At Elite Dent Repair, you're treated like family. Insurance approved, highly recommended. Just check their Google reviews. Call 913-515-6550 or go online to EliteDentPro.com.
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
KCFX HD4 Harrisonville, K279PI Kansas City, 103.7 FM. Sports Radio 810 WHB, Kansas City.
America's largest all-sports radio station presents the #1 motorsports show for over 2 decades, Track Talk, brought to you by Rod End Supply and the Power Ride Midwest Lightning Sprints. Here are the racing boys, Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Track Talk. It's all brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the Power Ride Midwest Lightning Sprints. Kirk.
Big weekend for NASCAR. Phoenix Raceway this weekend. Got it started last night with the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Corey Heim winning his 12th race of the year, which is by far an all-time record. That's nearly half the races, Scott.
Right.
Corey Heim won just one less than half the races. That's incredible.
Right.
And he clearly had the fastest truck last night and walked away with his first NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series championship. We'll have the Xfinity Series championship today and the Cup Series tomorrow. So we'll talk a lot about that this morning. Got a couple of good guests on the show. Mike Marlar, one of the top dirt late model drivers in the country, will be on the show today after sweeping.
Landon Crawley as well.
Landon Crawley. And he had a good night last night. Landon finished second in the preliminary race at the Short Track Nationals down at Texarkana last night.
Speaking of the Short Track Nationals, Kirk, 28 cars showed up for that.
I expected more. It was a rescheduled event. They were supposed to have this event a week ago. Of course, I was concerned about car count when they were up against the World of Outlaws, which got rained out at Arrowhead Speedway last weekend, and 81. Both events got wiped out a week ago. But going up against those two events, I wondered what the car count would be had they were been able to get it in on their originally scheduled date a week ago. And here it is. Nobody else was running last night. I thought they'd have more cars.
Hey, Kirk, how many cars did we have at Little Rock?
At one time, I think you were there for all these events, but you had over 100, didn't you?
Right.
Show up? I mean, that event in its heyday at I-30 Speedway in Little Rock, which is now closed, it shut down 3 years ago, it would go over 3 full days of competition. It was like marathon racing. There were so many cars down there that showed up. But we're gonna cut Tim Crawley a little bit of slack here because he's trying to get this event reestablished at a different venue. You and I both know, and Tim Crawley knows what a special venue that I-30 Speedway was in the big city of Little Rock, and try to recreate that somewhere else was always going to be a challenge. And then you add to it when Crawley tried to stage this event in 2023 and 2024, Mother Nature intervened, and he wasn't able to get the event in either year. So this is the first short track nationals we've seen since it left I-30 Speedway in Little Rock, and so it's going to be a little bit of a challenge getting the event built back up. Expect it to be like it was at I-30 Speedway. I think it's expecting too much, so we're going to allow them to establish this event. I would suggest one thing, though, Scott.
What?
They need better publicity out of this event. We didn't get a whole lot of press releases down there, didn't see a whole lot of buzz created around it on the social networks and so forth, so they need to work on that. I think maybe they were a little bit skittish about doing all that for fear that the weather would intervene, and I think they probably scared a lot of guys away, don't you think? That, the weather forecast last weekend was not good, that people just didn't want to commit to traveling a whole large of a distance.
Right.
For fear that it might get rained out. So that might have been part of it. But mostly regional guys down there. There were a few of the top stars. Sam Hafertepe Jr., who's the new champion of the ASCS, or just about ready to make that official, of the ASCS National Tour for the 6th time, was there. He won 2 of the last 3 short track nationals when it was at I-30 Speedway. He was there last night, but he didn't win. I think he finished 6th last night. He doesn't run a 410 that often, though, does he? Sam doesn't bring out the 410 all day. He's running 360 most of the time now. This is a 410 event now. That's the other challenge,
Sam Hafertepe run 6th, Kirk.
He did. So they made it into a 410 event they were going to a year ago. But it used to be a 360 event. So that's the other challenge they've got of trying to build this event back up again.
Hey, I'm going to be a little vocal about the 28 car count. That's
not enough.
That's not enough.
No. Need more. For an event like this, pays $20,000 to win. So I thought it was going to draw more people. But congratulations to Hank Davis. He wins the feature last night after inheriting the lead with 7 laps to go when Chris Martin, the leader from the start, spun out in turn 1 and collected the second-place runner, Cole Macedo. Took both those guys out. Both of them were able to get back into the race. Cole Macedo ended up 11th, and Chris Martin came back to 12th, so both those guys were able to get their cars repaired. After damage in that incident, collected Brecton Crouch also in that wreck. But that changed the whole complexion of the race, Scott. And Hank Davis was there to pounce on it, and he wins the preliminary race last night with Landon Crawley 2nd, Gage Montgomery 3rd, John Carney the 2nd, 4th, and Cody Gardner rounds out the top 5.
Howard Moore, Cole Macedo, and Chris Martin were all taken out in that wreck.
Yeah. So, but they were able to get those cars repaired, got them back in there, but happened to come in from the back. They weren't able to get back into the top. Howard Moore did end up in 10th place last night, so there's that. So tonight, it's a 41-lap event. You know why 41 laps?
Why?
They're doing a tribute to Jason Johnson, who won 2 of these events. Or no, Jason Johnson won 1 short track nationals. I think that was back in 2006. So they're going to pay tribute to Jason Johnson tonight by running the feature 41 laps, and it pays $20,000 to win. If you want to watch it, it's on Flow Racing tonight, so we'll be tuned into that. It looks like Texarkana a little bit bigger than the old I-30 Speedway. Straightaways look a little bit long. It's not like the I-30 Speedway track, maybe just a tad bit bigger.
Right.
Like, what is it, about 3/8 mile track down there? I-30 was a quarter-mile track, right?
Lakeside's a 4/10 of a mile. I went out there last night, Kirk. It was all locked up.
Well, you didn't know that the season's over, Scott.
Right.
They didn't have anything more scheduled. You showed up at Lakeside last night?
Right.
You should have called me, because I would have told you there was no races.
I had to take my grandson out there to her mama.
When are you taking your grandson to the races? When is that going to happen?
I don't know.
So anyway, you showed up at Lakeside last night. The season's over. I can officially say that. You get into November. The weather is not good for racing this time of the year. It's amazing how quickly the weather turned here about a week or so ago. It was like summertime up until about 10 days ago, and then it all of a sudden turned. So not a whole lot of racing to talk about last night. There were, in addition to the short track nationals last night, they had a sprint car race out in Stockton, California last night. The opening night of the tribute to Gary Patterson was staged at the Stockton Dirt Track, and Joel Myers Jr. came away with the feature win. Remember, he's the guy that won the overall championship for the Trophy Cup here a couple of weeks ago. And they had a dirt late model race at East Alabama Motor Speedway in
How many
Phoenix
cars
City,
were there?
Alabama. You mean at Stockton?
Right.
They had, let me see here, I'll count this up, 26 cars. So even fewer than the short track nationals. But
right,
this is not as big a traditional event as the short track nationals, what's going on out at Stockton. I do think they're running the NARC series out there tonight. So this was a 360 division called the Sprint Car Challenge Series. And Joel Myers Jr. outran Justin Sanders, Dominic Gordon, Tim Kading, and Austin Wood. There were some pretty stellar drivers in that field out at Stockton last night, but Joel Myers Jr. coming out on top. And there was a late model race last night down at East Alabama Motor Speedway in Phoenix City, Alabama. Brandon Overton won the preliminary of the National 100 last night. And I couldn't see either of these races on video last night. Flo didn't have either one of them. So I'm not sure where they were streamed last night, but I wasn't able to watch either one. You know, the only 2 races I watched last night were the truck race at Phoenix and the short track nationals. That was it. And watched the World Series game. So that was a pretty good game, too, the World Series. Going to Game 7 tonight, Todd. What do you think about that?
Can't beat a Game 7 in no matter what sport, right? So
yeah,
right.
Got championships on the line in NASCAR, MLB, everything. It's a long championship weekend.
So today it's a big day at Phoenix. The ARCA Menards West Series will have its race at 12:30 today. You can watch that on Flow Racing. Then qualifying for the Xfinity Series at 2:30 this afternoon. This is our time. And then qualifying for the Cup Series at 4 o'clock. They had a practice session for the Cup cars, which is pretty rare these days, yesterday.
Yeah.
And it's probably a good thing there was a practice for Chase Briscoe because he had all sorts of problems in practice yesterday. Had some kind of a rub going on. They brought it in, had to change a bunch of stuff on the car, and I still don't think they've got it sorted out. Chase Briscoe's one of the championship 4, and you know what I was thinking about this driving in this morning, that if there hadn't been a practice session, would they have tried some different stuff? I'm thinking that maybe James Small and that 19 team were trying some different things and it just didn't work.
That's
that
what
they
I
wouldn't have tried that had there not been a practice yesterday, which is pretty rare in NASCAR to have a solo practice session the day before qualifying.
Yeah, they don't do that no more. So
yeah, but maybe they were trying some different. It's trying to win a championship.
Like you said, you're in this. This is your one chance to throw a few things, see if it worked. If it didn't, then go back to your book. But I'm with you. You might as well give it a shot. And nothing hurt, nothing gain unless you crash a car. So, I mean, that's.
I don't know whether you can learn anything from the practice sessions, but if you go by the practice chart, Denny Hamlin looked like he had the quickest of the 4. William Byron, Kyle Larson, the other 3 drivers going for that championship. Have any idea who's going to get this done tomorrow? NASCAR wants to change the system, by the way, and it looks like they're going to. Should they change this system now? I've been a big critic of it when it began. I haven't really liked the playoff system when it began, but I'm surprised that they're going to change it.
Yeah, I can pull some videotape up back when Kirk didn't like when they changed it to this system. So
I don't like, but you think at this point. Why now? I guess my question is, why now?
Until I actually see the actual written policy, what's going to be in place, I'll still hold off.
Well, here's what gives me a pretty good chance that NASCAR is going to change it to a full season format with a couple of races at the end of the year for a handful of drivers to win it. They had the state of the state, they called it, NASCAR press conference yesterday with the CEO of NASCAR, Steve O'Donnell, and what they now call the commissioner of NASCAR, Steve Phelps, and they were answering a bunch of questions about the state of the sport, the lawsuit, everything else going on. And Steve O'Donnell made a comment yesterday about, and it was like he was defending the change already, and they haven't even announced it yet, that he was saying, well, we think our fans want the more drivers involved in the championship and having it come down to one race and one driver. Maybe that isn't the way to do it. He was making all kinds of defenses for that, which leads me to believe that an announcement is coming, the format change for the NASCAR Top 3 Series, which is going to be a big deal if they actually do it. It was the TV network executives that came up with this idea in the first place. TV executives are not really race aficionados. They come from other sports and they try to compare racing to every other major sport. And Steve O'Donnell yesterday at NASCAR admitted that racing is not like other sports. And he was making a defense for the change, and they haven't even announced it yet. So that's why I'm thinking they're going to make the announcement.
Well, if they do, then maybe it'll draw some more eyes back on it again. You never know.
Or will it make any difference at all?
Yeah, who knows?
Which is what I'm thinking. If they change the point system, Scott, is it really going to make any difference?
I don't think so, Kurt.
I don't think so either. So we'll see how that goes. But they didn't want to make any announcements before the championships were decided of this system. So the other big news this week in NASCAR is there were a lot of exhibits released by the court that were not favorable to NASCAR on this lawsuit that 2311 and Front Row Motorsports initiated over a year ago. It's an antitrust lawsuit against NASCAR that is slated to go to trial in December. And I've stated all along, I don't think this is going to trial. I don't think NASCAR is going to allow it to go to trial. And there was some reports that came out earlier in this week that both sides were close to a settlement. Well, Denny Hamlin was asked about this yesterday. He's the co-owner of 23XI. Bob Pockras, Fox Sports, asked him, you think we're close to a settlement? He said, we're not close, which that's just all negotiate and talk. I don't think a settlement is going to be reached until the day before the trial is slated to begin. That's what I think.
Right.
That's in December. So
I
don't think NASCAR is going to allow this to go to trial. I don't think there will be a trial. But the problem with NASCAR is they don't have the upper hand in this. They're the ones that didn't want this to go to trial. I don't think 23XI, Michael Jordan, and the owners of Front Row Motorsports care that it goes to trial. They probably want it to go to trial, but NASCAR definitely doesn't want it to go to trial, which means that who has the upper hand? The sides that are suing NASCAR. So what kind of a settlement will come out of this?
Don't
Who
know.
knows, but I don't think it's going to be good for anybody if this thing goes to trial. Do you?
Nope.
So we'll see where that ends up. But anyway, the focus is on the racetrack. Xfinity Series race today. Cup Series race finale tomorrow. You can watch the Xfinity Series race on the CW Network tonight. That's, what is that, 6:30 tonight?
Yep.
And it's going to be going on right at the Game 7 of the World Series.
Yeah.
I'll be flipping back and forth.
Picture in picture at my house.
You can watch two things at once, right, Tom?
Yeah, I put the baseball in the right corner because you don't need to hear that much. Actually, I'll be streaming 3 TVs probably. I'll have my other TV on as well. So
what's the third thing you're watching?
I'll probably watch it On Patrol Live. I like watching that, and it's a crazy weekend being it's Halloween weekend. So it's usually or Live PD maybe is what it's called. And so I'll be flipping like you. I'll be flipping around. Last night we were answering the door with the trick-or-treaters and keeping the dog back from trying to run out after everybody. So it was an eventful night last night around our. Not as many trick-or-treaters last night as what I had last year. Last night.
Why is that?
I don't know. Maybe because
Did you have trick-or-treaters, Kirk?
Not one.
Yeah.
Nobody knocked on my door. I didn't have anything for them anyway.
Well, I
never have trick-or-treaters knock on my door.
Yeah, I think you have to put some. You'd have to put some. You're in an apartment, Kirk, so you'd have to put some Halloween stuff out on.
Yeah,
there.
Put a light on outside.
Yeah,
or
and maybe a Halloween
that's it.
decoration on the door. Then they would know that you were.
Did you have trick-or-treaters last night, Scott?
I did.
Yep. Now your driveway's a little shorter. See, what me and Jennifer think is, once it gets a little colder. Last night the wind picked up and it got a little chilly out there. So a lot of times the neighbors or the parents, they decide to hit those houses where the yards are a little closer together. The driveways are a little shorter and the houses are closer together. A little bit more bang for the buck, so to speak. So my houses are pretty far spread apart. My driveway's quite long. So, but I had the good candy. I had one kid come up and say, man, 3 girls, they were dressed up as, I think they were the M&M's characters, but they came up they were the Alvin and the Chipmunks, and they said, "You got the best candy," because I bought some full-size candy bars and some full-size candy, Kirk. So
you know what the kids want.
Yeah,
I
know what I wanted when I was knocking on doors. So
hey, I ate a bunch of Snickers.
I bet you did.
Right?
Yeah, which means you had candy left over.
I've got a lot of candy left over.
You always
too.
buy more than you are going to give out.
Jennifer, my wife, yelled at me yesterday. She said, "Why'd you buy more candy?" I said, "I was just afraid that
you wanted to make sure there was enough.
We had enough
right.
to go around, because you don't want to run out, right?" So
the other thing is the clocks fall back tonight.
Don't forget
we get an extra hour of sleep.
Yes, sir. Man, it was dark out there, 7 o'clock, and it was still pitch dark outside this morning.
It was.
So be taking the fall back, as they say. So don't forget to do that. It'll be a good weekend to do that.
So we got a big show for you. Coming up next, we're going to hear from one of the top dirt late model drivers in the country, Mike Marlar, an interview that we did on Mostly Motorsports earlier this week. Later on in the hour, Landon Crawley. We're happy you're with us here this morning on Sports Radio 810. You're with the Racing Boys, and we're coming right back.
Track Talk.
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications. With
You got 4.5 minutes, gentlemen. 4.5.
10-4.
Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
Hey, bro, weirdest thing is happening at the game. This guy sitting next to me says, "You're our good luck charm. Every time I crack a Bud Light, we score a touchdown." Now his entire family wants to buy me Bud Lights. I think I'm some kind of a football prophet. Talk soon. The team needs me.
Anything for Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Stock up today. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Airman here for Midwest Heating. Now, we like to approach life in a lighthearted manner, but with the projected rise in natural gas prices, this winter's heating bills may be no joking matter. Many old furnaces have efficiency ratings as low as 60%, which means you're literally burning money. So think about this. Midwest Heating has a variety of high-efficiency Lennox systems that can heat your home, drastically improve your air quality, and boost that efficiency as high as 99%. Saving that kind of money each month will be a nice help for the other bills in your life. Even better, Midwest offers up to $1,800 in rebates on qualifying Lennox home comfort systems and up to 60-month 0% financing with approved credit. Dial 943-8787 or go to MidwestHeating.com for complete details. Now, for 7 decades, it's the same story. Trust your air to the best. Midwest. Midwest Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Are you a parent, guardian, or caregiver of a young adult diagnosed with autism who is seeking employment or experiencing difficulty in the workplace? The Autism Resource Center of Kansas City is here to provide a solution. Introducing Pathways to Employment, a new program for adults with autism seeking to obtain employment skills or learning to navigate the workplace. Because building skills for successful employment empowers a life of greater independence. To learn more and enroll for their winter session, visit aarckc.org. That's aarckc.org.
Hi, we're the people who have everything.
There's nothing you can get us we don't have.
We have 7 mini vacuums.
And Pearl handled pickleball rackets.
See?
Need a gift for someone who has everything? The Kansas Lottery has you covered with holiday scratch tickets in $1, $2, $5, $10, and $20 options. With instant wins up to $100,000. You could win even more in second chance drawings.
Did he say thousands?
We could always use that.
See kslottery.com for details.
Fall weather is around the corner, so keep those bugs out with Augustine Services. Hey, Soren Petro here. Now's the time to establish a barrier around your home. Augustine has you covered. Augustine Services is a family-owned local business since 1966. They're a Quality Pro and Green Pro company, and all their techs are certified in both Missouri and Kansas. Shop and buy local with Augustine Services. Call Augustine today at 913-359-8627 or go online to AugustineExterminators.com. That's AugustineExterminators.com.
At Ulta Beauty, the season of giving and treating yourself starts now. Get in the gifting spirit with limited edition kits from Sol de Janeiro, Tarte, and Moroccan Oil. Make every morning festive with advent calendars from Benefit Cosmetics and Drybar. These holiday exclusives won't last long. Make the season yours and head to Ulta Beauty today. Ulta Beauty. Gifting happens here.
Since 1886, it's been the 2 words we live by and the chant we live to cheer. We hear all season as the Jayhawks hit the turf.
Touchdown, Kansas!
Join us this Saturday as the Jayhawks battle the Oklahoma State Cowboys on homecoming. Our coverage begins at 1:30 on your home for Kansas Jayhawk football.
The Jayhawks play here. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Welcome back to Track Talk. It's all brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the Power Ride Midwest Lightning Sprints. Kirk?
Is Mike Marlar one of the great guys in all of racing?
He is.
He is one of the nicest guys you'd ever want to meet. He's always really responsive whenever we reach out to Mike. We haven't talked to him in a year because he's not had the greatest of seasons this year. He's won a few races, but he announced in September that he was leaving Skyline Motorsports after 2 years and going back to his old team owner, Ronnie Delk. And, boy, it didn't take him very long to show their old stuff. And at Atomic Speedway last weekend, he was perfect. Qualified number one both nights, won the heats both nights, started on the pole both Friday and Saturday night, and then capped it off by winning both races. You can't have a more perfect weekend than that. And earlier this week on Mostly Motorsports, we visited with Mike Marlar, and here is the first part of that conversation. Man, it's been a while since we spoke to you. A lot of water's crossed under the bridge. Here you are making an announcement that you're leaving Skyline Motorsports a little over a month ago, and all of a sudden you're sweeping the weekend at Atomic Speedway. Tell us what's happened here over the last couple of months.
Well, yeah, we going into my Skyline deal. I was there for 2 years, and we had a kind of an agreement for, we'd do it for 2 years and see where we were and go forward, and I kind of at least promised that when we started, So we kind of taking different directions there with where they were going, with what they were wanting to do and what I was wanting to do. So it was just a good time to not renew up and look at our other possibilities. So during that time, Ronnie had Delk, my team owner I drove for forever. He had been wanting to get back into the sport. So it worked out, and the timing was right for everything. So Ronnie got us some equipment gathered up here and got back to doing that. So far so good. We've been pretty pleased with how we've got started here. So it's always a work in progress. This racing stuff's competitive and pretty tough to win at. So happy that we could do that, and looking forward to what we can accomplish going forward for sure.
You had some really good success at Atomic Speedway. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, we had a good weekend. They had right now at the end of the year, things are winding down and kind of got a few good pen races popping up here and there, and they had that deal, 5 and 15,000, 5 Friday, 15 Saturday, and not a lot of heat there, but some decent cars. Devin was there, and Josh Rice and Jason Jameson, some guys like that. They're running good up in that area, and Devin, he's hot right now, so he's pretty tough to beat anywhere. So it was just fun to get to go there and race with them guys, and relatively close to home for us. I'm in Tennessee, and that's in Ohio, but that's about 4 hours, so it's not too far.
Well, you were almost perfect this weekend. You qualified number one both nights. You won heat races both nights. You led every lap on Saturday night. A couple of close calls on Friday night, but it doesn't get any better than the way the 157 performed over the weekend. How do you get all this equipment together so fast? And you got a Longhorn chassis. Just talk about getting the equipment together to do this here at this point in the season.
Well, yeah, it was pretty tough there. You always you don't want all the anticipation of all winter of doing something right. It's nice to just kind of get things going there, and in the fall time there at the end of the season, and that was a little bit of my choice to start, to go ahead and park my Skyline stuff and start running my Delk stuff there at the end of the year, was just to kind of get acclimated to how everything needed to be and figure out your strong points and weak points. But as far as getting the equipment goes, we just know a lot of people and in the industry, and kind of made the right phone calls. Got a hold of Malvern Bank and asked them if they finance a lot of rigs. So Malvern, kind of has an inside track. If anybody ever wants a motor home or anything like that, they're good people to talk to. So they put me on a hauler that was going to be coming up for sale, and was able to acquire that. And then a friend of mine, Justin Smith, had a Cornet engine that he was done racing for the year and only had a couple hundred laps, and so he let me get that engine and replace him with a new one over the winter. So that worked out. And then Steve at Longhorn had, some dealer cars that were, for dealer guys that didn't really have a designated home, I guess, for them, right? So they were just kind of in line to get built. So I was able to snag one of them, and with a whole lot of work in a short amount of time, we was able to get it all put together. But really just got to give Ronnie a big thanks. He's pretty good at pulling off things in tight situations, so he was able to get all that done in a short amount of time, and I really didn't think we could, but he made her happen one way or another, and here we are, out here, and our whole world's, we went from not knowing if we was going to race to getting interviews about winning, so that's pretty cool.
So Ronnie Delk just missed being around the action, I take it, right?
Yeah, well, I think, there's everybody, this stuff takes a lot to do, and Ronnie, when we first started racing, his kids were, he's got 6 kids, and the oldest one was maybe, I don't know, 15 or 16, and the youngest ones, were little. And I think after we done it for 10 years, he had kids looking at college and kind of life stuff happening there within his family, and I think he needed to make sure his priorities were straight there, and he so he stepped away from racing and worked on, some stuff there that he needed to take care of. And I think all that's kind of sorted itself out and worked itself through, and he was anxious to get back racing again. And so just the timing worked out perfect. He'd been out of the sport for a couple of years. His middle son, Jared, races a little bit with a crate car, so he's kind of been in tune with it a little bit, but not at the level we were doing it. And so, yeah, it's cool that he wanted to get back into it, and I've said this in a couple of interviews that of the 700 days I didn't drive for Ronnie, we probably talked about 500 of them, so we've always been really close, and so just he just kind of knew my situation and knew what I wanted to try to accomplish, and he thought we could do it, so it worked out good.
That kind of relationship really is hard to put a value on, is it not? I mean, what you and Ronnie Delk and the success that you had over all those years, to remain in contact during these 2 years, how big is that?
Oh, it's big. My group, I always say in dirt racing, sometimes we don't have the equipment, but we've always got a team, and in my whole sphere here, we got, Josh Davis is, he's been with me now for 18, 19 years, and Jerry's been with me for, Jerry was with me pretty much the whole time we raced with Ronnie and Skyline, so he's been with me a long time now, Jerry Sprouse, and then, a lot of our sponsors have been around for a long time and been with us, and connections there. So, yeah, we've got, we've just got a whole group of people that's, we're always friends, whether we're racing together or not, we're in contact and we're, part of each other's lives. So it's fun. It's definitely fun to get to do it, with those guys for sure though. And Ronnie was just kind of the catalyst to get everybody back together and get it back going again. And, no pressure. It's not like we're trying to conquer the world. When we decided we were going to do it, even having a rig wasn't really what I was planning on. I thought we would just have like a little gooseneck trailer or something and race when we could. But to go off to these bigger races, you definitely got to have, a place to stay and good transportation and this and that. So that worked out good. But yeah, it's taken a little bigger life than I even thought it could have. But it's fun to do it with those guys for sure.
Yeah, I mean, what's this mean, sweeping the weekend at Atomic the way you did this past weekend moving forward? What are your plans for next year? Are you going to go to a particular series, or are you just going to run an open schedule?
Well, it's racing's changed. For years and years, I was kind of the guy that run an outlaw schedule and didn't run a series. But now with the start monies and the points incentives and this and that, I almost feel like you about got to run a series. You don't have to, I guess, but I feel like you're missing out on some opportunities when you don't. But at this point, we got just one car and one motor, and so at this point we can't really, say we're going to do much. But if it all comes together good and keeps going well, then we're liable to jump on a series and just not quit going to the races, not quit going to their events, So,
yeah.
So I don't really know for sure yet. I hate to make much of a plan. We're just living in the moment and trying to win the next race, and we'll see where that takes us.
Talk about running one motor. That's a real challenge, isn't it?
It can be for sure, and we got got a motor from Jack Cornett, and Glenn's in the process of getting us a spare, and so there's some things going on there. So Glenn Clements, we use him also. So yeah, it can be, the motor deal's kind of tough right now. Their motors are based off of a small block Chevrolet, and they're just, with now the new world of drag racing and LS motors and everything that's going on, they're just not really, the parts aren't there for them like they were in the past. Everything's kind of made to order, special order stuff. So a little harder to get them now, but yeah, it's hopefully we'll not have any bad luck and one will last for a while, but you never can tell.
That's Mike Marlar. He's such a good guy, isn't he?
He is. We got more of him coming up, exclusively hour 2 coming up in the next hour.
Matter of fact, he broke some news on our podcast, so stay tuned to hour 2 for a little breaking news from Mike Marlar. So
it's going to be interesting to see how he does at the World Finals next weekend. He's going to take the 157 car to Charlotte next weekend. I think the way he's running right now, don't sleep on Mike Marlar next weekend.
Right.
Late models, sprint cars, and
you can never sleep
next weekend.
You can never sleep on Mike Marlar.
No, I mean, especially after what he did at Atomic Speedway last weekend. So
right.
They've got the old gang back together, and he's ready to get it done next weekend. So yeah, he'll make an announcement. So stay tuned for that coming up in hour 2.
All right. Landon Crawley's going to join us next year on Sports Radio 810 WHB. It's all brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints. We'll be back in a moment. Stay tuned.
Track Talk. Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as
3.5 minutes, gentlemen. 3.5.
Perfect.
Products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply is an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
Hey, it's Todd Lebo here for Paramount Sports. The nation's #1 sports handicapper, Lee Sterling, is red hot like always. Whether it's a September to remember, Locktober, or Dovember, Lee's got you covered. You can hear him every Friday on The Zone and during Chiefs Tailgate each week. Call 800-400-9741 or log on to ParamountSports.com to purchase picks. Don't wait. Jump on board right now with Lee Sterling at Paramount Sports. It's not just football, UFC, basketball, hockey, plus props. Check it all out at ParamountSports.com.
Extra, read all about it. The Fed just cut interest rates again, and that means now is the time to refinance with Golden Oak Lending. Lower rates mean lower payments, and our customers are saving hundreds every month. Plus, you can make no payments until next year. And if your loan doesn't close, we'll pay for your appraisal. Call 913-890-GOLD today and start saving.
Golden Oak Lending, cured my blues.
NMLS number 114937.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right and naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about anything, from the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys. Tito's is known for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits to serve its communities and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's. Distilled and bottled by 5th Generation Inc., Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume. Savor responsibly.
Mercedes-Benz of Kansas City is South Kansas City's home for an amazing selection and unmatched quality pre-owned vehicles. You can choose from a wide selection of Mercedes-Benz factory-certified pre-owned vehicles with their unlimited mileage warranty. Now, whether it's a GLA or GLS, they've got the SUV to fit your family, whether they're around town or on vacation. Mercedes-Benz of Kansas City also offers to its customers Corvettes, BMW, Audi, and Range Rovers. South Kansas City, Mercedes-Benz of Kansas City is your Mercedes-Benz dealer, 1/2 mile east of State Line on Highway 150 or online at mbofkc.com.
Guaranteed Boots.
A new client got tired of tough meat from the store, so she ordered some meat online, spent hundreds of dollars, and a week later found a box of meat on her doorstep. But it was all frozen together in the packages, so when she needed just one serving, she had to thaw it all out. Now, from Guaranteed Foods, she enjoys all natural meats, free from water, chemicals, and tenderizers, and each cut is individually portion packaged. She can use as many servings as she needs with no waste. Can you? You can. Go to GuaranteedFoods.com.
Guaranteed Foods.
They hand it off to Devin Neal, rushing left side, gets to the edge, to the 15, the 10, the 5, touchdown, Kansas.
Kansas Jayhawk football on Sports Radio 810 WHB is presented by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City, Central Bank, and by Guaranteed Foods.
There's Luke Graham at the 45, the 40, inside the 30, all the way down to the 27-yard line.
Your home of the Jayhawks, Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Welcome back to Track Talk. It's all brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the Power Midwest Lightning Sprints.
We had Landon Crawley on our Mostly Motorsports show earlier in this week. His father, Tim Crawley, is the promoter at 67 Speedway at Texarkana, which is now the host of the Short Track Nationals. So we knew that Landon Crawley would be part of the field for the Short Track Nationals this weekend. That was a given. He and the Johnny Herrera team showed up last night, and don't count these guys out. They qualified fourth in Group A last night, won his heat race, started fourth in the main event, and finished second in the preliminary round last night. So he, along with the other top four, are already locked in to tonight's 41-lap feature event. So Landon Crawley's going to get a good start for tonight's feature.
Right.
So he and the Johnny Herrera 45X car look pretty good at maybe walking away with the big money. So the conversation we had with Landon earlier this week, we talked about his 2025 season and the future of the 45X and the Johnny Herrera team. Here's part one of that conversation. Man, you've really come alive here towards the end of the season. Has some pretty impressive finishes. We saw you down at the Jesse Hockett Daniel McMillan Memorial here back in September. You came away with a 5th and 3rd there. That was after a 5th place finish in the World of Outlaws down at Vado. Just what's been the big ticket to the turnaround and really ending up the season pretty strong here?
Yeah, no, we've been really good the kind of second half of the season, Knoxville on pretty much. Everything's it's kind of started clicking for us. I mean, we've pretty much every national race we've ran at least top 10. So that's been it's been very, very rewarding. It was a tough year for me for sure, and especially the way the year started. You know, swapping rides, and we just struggled for a long time. And I mean, we had speed on occasion, but we weren't able to go to different racetracks and consistently have speed. So it's been the last 3 months have been very, and just honestly, it's been a ton of fun for me. You know, I'll be honest, I kind of started to get a little bit, you know, burnout, and just you gotta get in your head a little bit, and then once it starts turning around, you remember, you know, why you do it, why it's fun. So yeah, it's been really good.
Talk about Sharon Speedway a little bit.
Sharon.
Wait a second. Sharon Speedway? Vado Speedway. You're talking
Vado.
About. Yeah, Vado, where you finished 5th.
Yeah, no, that was another. That was pretty cool. Everything kind of fell into place for me. You know, we went out really late for qualifying, but still ended up timing in decent, and we just had an all around good night. You know, the track it had a little bit of grip to it, so I mean, it wasn't there wasn't a ton of passing, so that kind of helped me out a little bit, and then we were just able to go green to checkered and just end up putting together a good run. And it's pretty unfortunate we rained out the second night. I was pretty excited to go run that place. Vado is definitely one of those racetracks that I would love to go back to, and I feel like it's one of those places that could use 3 or 4, you know, national sprint car races a year. It's got a ton of potential. It's a really just enjoyable racetrack. It's in a good part. I mean, it's everything about that place is just, it's right. Royal's done a phenomenal job with it, just getting everything built back up out there. And, the sport, it really needs it. That was probably one of the coolest things I've ever seen, just seeing, there was a lot of people there, but some of the people that were there, you could tell that it's not your normal, sprint car crowd. So I thought that was really cool, and I'm really excited to get back there one day.
And it's a beautiful facility too, isn't it? One of the best in the country.
Yeah, for sure. It doesn't, if you're kind of rolling into the place, you don't really think it looks like a racetrack until you got to get on the other side. Then it all starts making sense. It's got some interesting architecture to it.
How big was that night? You walk out of there with a 5th place finish at the Outlaw. You did run the full Outlaw season before that, so that had to be a great experience for you. But how big was that as a turning point for the rest of the season that night at Vado?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely benefited us. I mean, there's no doubt about that. And I think the best thing for it was honestly just for me kind of getting my head back where it needed to be. And, you got to realize that, from a driver's standpoint, you got to be confident. And the second you lose your confidence, I mean, it's going to show. And I feel like it showed for me, tremendously. I think there was plenty of races where I probably should have ran way better than I did. And, I'll just be very transparent. I don't think I was given my full 110%. And kind of once that night rolled around, it just kind of all started to click. It all just in reality, it made it feel a little bit easier going into the next week, and we were just able to carry that speed from Vado on all the way to the end of the year, which that's the coolest and definitely the biggest part of that is knowing that we have speed in quite a few different parts of the country, and we're able to run with different guys, and we're starting to cross that bridge of we're getting pretty competitive, and that's it's a good feeling, and it's really cool to be able to run with some of those guys that are literally the best in the country.
Landon Crawley is going to be a long-term really good driver in sprint car racing. Tell you why. His dad, Tim Crawley, that's number one.
Right.
Number two, he's already spent a full year with the World of Outlaws. I mean, if that doesn't give you an education of what's going on, what would?
He started 4th last night and ended up running 2nd.
Yeah. So I think it's only a matter of time if Johnny Herrera kind of sticks with Landon. I hope they do. I was kind of wondering about that, just what the future lies there with Johnny. Johnny, he's Johnny pretty well.
Yep.
He's used to winning. And if he's not winning, he's probably not the happiest guy in the world. So probably not a whole lot of patience there. But I think, if these two guys stick together, I think that it's going to pay dividends down the road. I hope they do. And Landon Crawley, very, very good young man, mature for his age. What is he, 17? So very, very mature for his age.
Yeah, not even quite 18 yet, so he'll be fine. That kid, like you said.
He's going to be a good race car driver.
I think so.
Yeah, well, he's
still developing.
Yeah, I mean, you go out on the road, and like you talk about, and as a young kid like that, and travel up and down the road with those kind of, that's a professional series, man.
And they haven't shied away from the toughest competition out there either.
Absolutely. So, you said, I look for big things for that kid, and we've been watching him since he was in the shootout. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he was pushing on the back of his dad's car at the Chili Bowl, and we used to do interviews with him, and with his dad while he was just fiddling around with wrenches in the background. So yeah, this kid, he's been in it from the beginning, and I don't expect him to be out of a ride if he is. But I think Johnny's gonna. He sounds like those two have a pretty good working relationship.
Johnny acts like he's going to keep him.
Yeah,
I hope so.
They sound like they're pretty good team together.
Yeah.
So
I mean, who better to have at your back than Johnny Herrera?
Yeah, Johnny Herrera and Tim Crawley as your go-to. The people that you
How big would that be if they were to pull that off tonight?
Boy, that'd be a big.
huge.
That'd be a big.
And
big
they got
win.
a chance at it.
Yeah, you're right.
So we'll see how that goes. So the Xfinity Series today, this is the last time they're going to call it the Xfinity
That's
Series.
right. This is the last.
Next year
Xfinity.
it's going to be called the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. And the 4 drivers that are be going for a championship tonight are Connor Zilisch. He has 10 wins this year.
That's who
I don't
I'm-
think that's going to be quite right if he doesn't win the championship. Hey, what do I know?
That's who my pick is. I mean, you can't go wrong with somebody who's got double-digit wins in a season, right?
Right.
You got his teammate, the defending champion, Justin Allgaier. He's got 3 wins this year. Jesse Love is in the Final 4, and Carson Kvapil. Those are the 4 guys that are be going for the Xfinity Series title tonight. You can watch that on the CW network. And as far as the Cup Series is concerned, I guess we got to get our picks here. Who's going to walk out with the championship tomorrow? Is it going to be Denny Hamlin with 6 wins? Or is it going to be his teammate Chase Briscoe with 3 wins? Or the 2 Hendrick Motorsports drivers?
My money's on the Hendrick cars, if you ask me. But
Kyle Larson and William Byron.
yeah, that's who I would throw my 1 and 2. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Larson's probably going to win this race. Or win. I don't know if he's going to win the race, but I think he's going to win this.
You don't have to win the race to win the championship.
You just got to finish ahead of everybody else. So that's the thing. If it was coming down to a winner only, if it comes down to that, I don't know. I would throw it out the window, but I believe...
Well, Larson's done this before. He's the only one of the 4 that's done this before. He won in 2021 at Phoenix and walked away with the championship.
Yes, he
These
did.
other 3 guys have not done it. I'm thinking that maybe it's Denny Hamlin's turn,
Denny,
finally.
he hasn't had one, and he's going to throw everything at it because of everything that's going on with him and the teams and everything. You can't tell me he doesn't want to go into the offseason as the champion to have a little bit of push and pull.
Well, with 6 wins this year, he deserves to be the champion.
I agree.
I
So,
think.
I don't know. It's a gimme. So what do you think,
But
Kurt?
they've had a history. Denny Hamlin's had a history of making mistakes. It's like the golfer in a champion
got the
in a
yips.
major championship missing the putts.
got a little-
Greg Norman, remember him?
Absolutely.
Denny Hamlin, they either make not a lot of it not his fault. They
Yeah,
make
that
a
happens
mistake
in
on pit
pits.
road, or he speeds on pit road, or
Yep.
something crazy happened. That's been the history of Denny Hamlin in these championship runs.
Well, it ought to be a good race tomorrow, and the Chiefs game are on in the afternoon. It's an afternoon game tomorrow. I thought it was going to be an evening
The
game
Bills.
with the Bills, but it's a 3:30 game. So stand
3:30.
Yep, 3:25. Tuning in. So
Do
between
they
that,
win? Do the Chiefs win in Buffalo? They've done it before.
yeah, they usually don't have a good history of winning in the regular season against Buffalo, but
in the playoffs,
But in the
they do.
playoffs, so if I had to go to the bank and put that bet down, I'll take that. Give me the loss tomorrow and the win in the playoffs. I'll take that any day. But yeah, good luck to everybody out there. And yeah, I think my pick will be Kyle Larson, and maybe I'm just gonna go with the Hendrick drivers. That's where I'm gonna go.
Well, I'm going to say that Larson has not won a race since May 11th at Kansas
Yeah,
Speedway.
and that's what I was gonna say. If he had to win this race,
Mother's Day.
I wouldn't have picked him, but he just has to finish ahead of these other guys, right? So
Yeah.
and pick up a couple stage points here and there.
Well,
so.
it was a couple of years ago, for the first time in many years, that the champion was not the winner of the race.
Yeah, I remember that.
Ross Chastain won this race 2 years ago,
Yep.
and it was Ryan Blaney, the champion.
Well, that'd be cool to see a good somebody outside of the 4 pick up that win.
Jay Powers, thank you for all you do back at Sports Radio 810. Todd Surprise, great job as always. We got hour 2 exclusively on Race Boys coming up. And we'll be here for Mostly Motorsports on Monday podcast. You can check that out on raceboys.com.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning into Track Talk. It's all brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints. Hour number 2 coming up right here on RBN, the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network.
Reveal your sly intentions and free my
is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
New
Thanks,
at the
man.
Nelson
Appreciate it.
Atkins Museum of Art. Explore the intersections of artistic and athletic practice. The free exhibition.
He's probably got. We forgot to mention College Game Day coming up next.
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
Here at Specialty Sportswear in-house, we do all of the screen printing, all the embroidery. We do some vinyl. The other add specialty items like your pens, magnets, notepads, calendars. You can actually buy that, build your business to make it larger. We have the largest screen printing process and the largest embroidery anywhere around in the area. We can do stuff all the way from your school clubs to sports teams, a professional look in the office. If you can imagine it, we can do it for you.
From the circle track to the drag strip to off-road racing, Rod End Supply has been keeping their customers at the front of the field since 1989. Whether you need rod ends, tubular rods, or specialty products, Bob Douglas and his Rod End Supply staff are always ready to help you with your needs. You can visit them on the web at rodendsupply.com or call them at 800-284-2902. That's 800-284-2902. Rod End Supply, keeping you at the front of the field.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Sabres 33 RLP. Let's go take a tour. Coming into this animal, we're going to take a trip back here to the feature of this trailer, the deck. Check it out. It's awesome. It's 4 by 10 feet. You can dance on this thing. Boom! Check it out. It's pretty nice. And then coming to the back of this thing, you got a 75-inch TV. It's huge. 60-inch fireplace. It's nice and big, keep you warm. Then you got an ottoman that converts into a table, if you will. Maybe some TV trays. Then this hide-a-bed that I'm pointing at, it comes out and folds into like a king-size bed with storage in the corner for all your linens. Great little addition to the trailer. Your dinette, of course. Then you're gonna come around to the kitchen with the tic-toc sink. It's got the spritzer and the waterfall and all that stuff. Residential style refrigerator. It's got the microwave and the oven that's residential as well. Big old pantry over here with motion detected lights, coffee bar, and then coming up to the bedroom, you'll have the bathroom first, nice and spacious with a seat in it for them ladies. And then we got the king size bedroom with washer dryer hookup. I'm telling you, this is a home run for a couples coach. Come to see me, Kyle Walker.
When Steve died, the outpouring of love was amazing. These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized, no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive. So having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
So we have a lot of folks come in interested in traveling for work. This is going to be a great option. Your Coachman Northern Spirit 2565 front kitchen. You have a nice wraparound full front kitchen here. Huge windows up top. Big 12-volt refrigerator. Lots of windows on the sides here. Great natural light coming in. You have your big TV over here on the swing arm bracket so you can kind of see it from any point in the room. Also have your bar stools here. Sit and eat your breakfast. In the bedroom, you're going to have a king-size bed in the slide-out. Lots of storage underneath that. Washer, dryer, hookup. Tons of storage with the drawers. Then you got your full bath across the back. When it comes down to a camper that you can get for 6,500 pounds and be under 30 feet long, this is an absolute home run.
Race fans, the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum is open 7 days a week, year-round, for you to come in and check out all of the wonderful race cars on display in the museum. And our online store at sprintcarstuff.com is open 24 hours a day for you to check out everything that we have in stock for sprint car fans. Whether it's for a birthday, anniversary, or Christmas, sprintcarstuff.com has it all. That's at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville.
Go harder, faster, stronger with Rod End Supply. Whether you are running industrial, farming equipment, or a race car, Rod End Supply has the assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products that will help you lead the field in performance. Our superior design means our rod ends last longer and perform better, giving you the edge on the track and saving you money. Contact Rod End Supply or order online today at rodendsupply.com. We don't just sell them, we race them. rodendsupply.com. Serving the racing community for over 30 years.
Hey everybody, this is Larry the Cable Guy. You are listening to RacingBoys.com, and if you're not, I swear to you, get in your truck or do something, but get the hell out of this country, because you don't belong in it if you don't listen to these fellas.
It's time for America's most unique motorsports show, Track Talk, brought to you by Rod End Supply and the POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints. Here are the racing boys, Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
Welcome back to Track Talk. It's all brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints.
Hank Davis wins the preliminary of the Short Track Nationals last night at Texarkana 67. That's the Beaver Drill and Tool Car. And Scott, when's the last time you can remember the Beaver Drill and Tool Car doing this well in sprint car racing? Hank Davis seems to be getting it done, isn't he?
He does. He's
out there racing on the POWRi 410 series. They're going to wrap up their season next weekend. This was not a sanctioned event last night, and Davis, he was coming strong anyway in last night's feature event before the incident between Chris Martin and Cole Macedo. Leader Chris Martin spun out, and Cole Macedo, who was running second, got caught up in the incident. And Hank Davis, who started sixth in the race, was charging up around the outside. I'm not so sure that he still wouldn't have been a factor winning that race had that incident between Martin and Macedo not occurred. Because lap traffic was a big issue last night. These guys trying to get lap traffic, and there was a lot of slicing and dicing going on before that incident occurred. That I'm not so sure Davis might still have won had that not occurred. But still, that was a great run last night for Hank Davis, who wins his third overall feature of the year. He won at Callaway Speedway here a few weeks back on the POWRi 410 series. And then I was looking to see when his other win was. That was way back early in the year on June 21st at Big Sky Speedway. He won on the ASCS Tour. He won a Wing 360 event at Big Sky on June 21st. But his one POWRi 410 win was at Callaway Speedway on September the 13th. So his third win last night, and he is one of the top four drivers that are locked into tonight's $20,000 41-lap main event. Landon Crawley, second. Gage Montgomery, who came from California, finished third. And John Carney, the second, in fourth place. Those four guys are locked in. They'll be starting up towards the front tonight.
How about Brad Sweet?
What about Brad Sweet? He's the champion. He was the champion.
He's
not the champion anymore.
He's won 11 races, and his best average finish is 5.85.
Brad Sweet is, he made that, I don't know whether it shocked all of us, but it shocked a lot of people when he made the tearful announcement at the banquet here a couple of weeks ago that he was retiring from full-time sprint car racing. Sweet was not able to win the championship this year, but he gave Rico all he wanted there at the end. Rico Abreu is the high-limit champion, but Brad Sweet announced that he was not coming back full-time next year. I'm not surprised about that because he is
he's burnt out.
A promoter. Well, he's got a lot of other irons in the fire. He's co-owner of the High Limit Series. He's a promoter of the Silver Dollar Speedway out in Chico. They've just taken on the NARC Series now, so Brad Sweet's got a lot going on. And I made comments on this show that I think it affected his performance out on the racetrack at times, where he just wasn't running up as well as you'd think he should, but he had a lot going on, especially lead up to the Gold Cup is when Sweet seemed to struggle, but he was working hard at trying to promote that event. So I think it was a great move that Brad decided at the age of 39 that he needed to focus his efforts on the bigger picture, which I think he's okay with. But you could tell he had some mixed emotions stepping away full-time from the High Limit Series, didn't he?
He did.
But I still look for Sweet to climb in a race car. I think he could still get in a one-off with Casey Kane and go run a race or two every now and then, don't you think? Don't you believe that when the Knoxville Nationals rolls around, Brad Sweet will still have a car in the field? I believe that. Some of the bigger races out there, I think Brad Sweet will still race. He's just not going to be racing full-time. The other big news that came out in High Limit this past week that the Buick Motorsports number 13 has found a driver for 2026, and it's Tanner Holmes, who had been driving the Tarleton number 21 here at the end of the year. He won the final night at the Trophy Cup, but Tanner Holmes, who's got a huge presence in social media, I think this is a good pick for Buick Motorsports to replace Dazen Persley, who is now the new driver for Casey Kane, replacing Brad Sweet. A lot of musical chairs going on in sprint car racing right now. I think more to come as a lot of these rides get filled, as Dazen Persley will now be driving the Napa Auto Parts number 9 for Casey Kane Racing. And he did win one race with Buick Motorsports. And now Tanner Holmes will be stepping into that ride for 2026. That announcement was made this past week.
I-35 is going to close this weekend.
Last weekend, they shut down for the season. Didn't they? I-35 had their last race last weekend.
I went out to Lakeside Speedway last night, and there was a bunch of...
You didn't know that it was over at Lakeside? Season's over. You miss it, don't you?
I do.
You had nowhere to go last night. We had nowhere to go last week. It rained all weekend last weekend, so.
Well, if you want to go, there's still one racing going on. So Topeka Quarter Midget Association out there in Topeka, they're having their final race of the year.
There's still a racetrack in Topeka.
So, yeah, there is actually. So, and it's a really, I don't know if you've ever been out there. I went and watched a couple races out there.
Track.
Yeah, it's a really cool
It is a cool facility.
They got electronic scoreboard and everything. So today, November 1st, sign-in is at 10:30 to 11:30. Rookie practice 11 to 11:30. Driver handler meeting 11:45. Races start at noon. So get on out there today and have at it. It says free admission, full concessions, and a chili soup potluck on Saturday following all the races. So if you want to get any of the information, you could go to their Facebook page, the Topeka Quarter Midget Association. And,
it's over too.
Right.
Rodney Sanders is the champion after the season got wiped out last weekend. They were supposed to be at Lakeside and 81 last weekend, but Mother Nature was not able to cooperate. So Rodney Sanders is the champion for the 6th time.
Hey, Kirk,
in the USMTS.
What do you think about Tony Stewart drag racing?
Yeah, a lot of news going on there. By the way, they are racing at Las Vegas this weekend. It is the next to final race of the season for the NHRA, and Tony Stewart is there. But the playoffs have not been kind. The countdown, they call it, in NHRA has not been kind to Tony Stewart as he went into this whole thing as the regular season points leader. But, remember he made the finals at the U.S. Nationals, but it's not been all that great since then. So he's not going to be the champion in the Top Fuel. But Tony Stewart is going to be driving for Richard Freeman in the Elite Motorsports Top Fuel team next year with Mike Green as his crew chief, because the ride that he's in now is going to be taken back over by Tony's wife, Leah. Leah wants her ride back, and Tony doesn't want to field 2 Top Fuel cars. So, but Tony's still going to be out there. He's still going to be racing against his wife maybe sometimes, right? But for the Richard Freeman Elite Motorsports team next year. So we'll keep an eye on that. But qualifying last night under the lights out at the Strip at Las Vegas had Brittany Force, who's on her way out. She has announced that she is not going to be racing full-time next year because she wants to start a family. So Brittany Force looks like she's not good. She's a 2-time champion in Top Fuel, but not the champion this year. Just hadn't had the kind of season that they were looking for John Force Racing, but she would like to win this weekend. She's got a pretty good shot at it. She set a ET of 3.697 seconds at 338 miles an hour last night out at Las Vegas. So she goes in number 1, Doug Coletta 2, Sean Langdon, and Sean Reed, your top 4. Funny car, who can stop Austin Prock? This is another John Force Racing car. He is on a rampage to win his 2nd straight Funny Car Championship. Austin Prock last night went 3.895 at 334 mile an hour to set the number 1 spot in Funny Car, the provisional number 1. They got more qualifying sessions today. Matt Hagan 2, Spencer Hyde 3, and Ron Capps number 4. And in Pro Stock, it was Corey Reed, Greg Anderson, and Erica Enders. Erica's not had all that great of a season this year. Gage Herrera, number 1 in Pro Stock Motorcycle. You can watch the finals tomorrow on FS1 at Las Vegas. Then I think a couple of weeks they are out at Pomona for the World Finals out there. So all you drag racing fans, there you go. Who's going to win the championships in all these divisions? I have no idea. Austin Prock, I think, is going to win Funny Car, but other than that, I'm not sure. We'll find out. Defending champion in Funny Car is Antron Brown. I don't think he's going to win it. So we'll see. So NHRA is not closing up their season for another couple of weeks. Next weekend, we got the World Finals out at Charlotte, the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. World Racing Group. You can watch that on Dirt Vision. We got the World of Outlaws, late models and sprint cars, and Super Dirt Series Big Block Modifieds next weekend. They were supposed to race this weekend at Charlotte, Scott.
Right.
Last night, they were supposed to have what they call the World Dirt Track Champion. You know, it's a lot of entry-level stuff. They were supposed to have like 500 entry-level cars at Charlotte last night, but it got rained out. I'm not sure what the forecast is to race down there tonight, but that's kind of a precursor to the World Finals next weekend, which lasts over 4 nights. So we'll be covering that next weekend. 2 weeks from now, the Fuzzy Fall Fling, Creek County Speedway. ASCS season finale.
I'm going to go down there.
2 weeks.
I'm going to go down there for that race.
That's over the weekend of the 15th of November. So hope the Mother Nature cooperates then. They did race some micro cars at Creek County Speedway last night. Part 2 of Mike Marlar. Yeah. We spoke with Mike on our Mostly Motorsports broadcast earlier this week. Heard from him in hour 1. Let's hear more from Mike Marlar from earlier this week. Well, let's talk about these races over the weekend. Friday night, you had a couple of close calls there. Josh Rice was giving you a pretty good run for your money, and then a yellow came out just about the right time there. Talk about Friday night's race.
Yeah, I had everything go my way Friday. You know, I got my car way too tight, and the bottom lane came in, and I just couldn't rotate around the bottom lane very good. And I tried it a lap or two, and I realized I could run a faster lap just using the banking and running wider on the track, and so I was kind of committed to doing that, and I was really in the slow lane trying to do that, you know. And so yeah, luckily he got me and pretty much had me passed, and we weren't all the way done with the exchange of slides and all that, but it was going to be hard for me to fend him off, and the caution came out. And then later in the race, Devin pretty much got in the same interaction with Devin, and another caution came out. So yeah, I was for sure, you know, when it's your day, right? And things were going my way on that, and I was thankful for all the times that I've been on the short end of that stick, you know, and felt like you should have won some. So I got a couple of them back there, or got at least one of them back the other night, you know, in that situation. But it's kind of how it goes, you know. When you do enough of it, it comes and goes, and you get the highs and you get the lows, and the good ends of the sticks and the bad ends of the sticks, you know.
You know, Devin Moran is one of your fierce competitors. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, especially he's coming off a championship. That had to be pretty satisfying to win over a guy of that caliber.
Yeah, oh yeah. Devin's, you know, Devins used to be the kid that I'd just go race and beat up on him all the time, you know, and he was
right.
younger, and I was younger, and he's in that group of guys that's going to take over the sport for their time, you know, and he's about pretty much a guy that, you know, he's consistent everywhere he goes, won a national championship now. You know, his legacy and his family is you know, awesome, you know, and you know, him, and even, you know, I'll bring up like Bobby Pierce or somebody. I always remind people that Bobby Pierce's legacy started with Bob, you know, in the 70s, you know. So, and Devin and Donnie, you know, them guys started them. Donnie started his career, I guess, whenever, probably late 70s, early 80s or something, and you know, so those are 50-year, you know, dynasties that are being built, and they're just going to be really, really. They're only going to get better, you know. So it's cool to get a race with them guys. You know, I'm 40. I'll be turning 48 this winter, and it's cool to be out there mixing it up with the young guys, still competitive, and I like to think it kind of keeps me young too. So I love racing with them guys, and racing's different now. You know, they race a lot different than racing when I first started, and you got to have a little thicker skin now. You know, when we raced, it was always uber clean. Nobody ever touched anybody. That kind of racing, and it's changed. And them guys, they're not being bad about it. I'm just saying that's the aggression it takes, and you're seeing it across the sport and NASCAR and other things too. It's just the way of the world now. But it's fun racing with Devin. On a personal level, me and Devin are really good friends, and most people wouldn't know, but my wife was Devin's babysitter when he was a kid. So,
really?
We go back a little further than people even realize.
Wow. Yeah, you know, the style of racing from proteges like that. I mean, you also got Hudson O'Neal, his dad. Don O'Neal was a big star, Bobby Pierce, and now Devin Moran, his dad, Donnie Moran. Do those guys seem to race a little cleaner than some of the other younger guys out there because of that? Or does that not be a factor?
No, I just think that I wouldn't say cleaner. They do race clean. They're not bad racers whatsoever. I'm just saying that they, the intensity they can, they've been around the racetrack since they were 3 years old and riding up and down the road in these S&S haulers their whole life. They just know this game so well to be at, a relatively young age, And my generation, we climbed in a race car when we got a driver's license, or, I didn't know about. Matter of fact, the first time I heard of the World 100 was 1994. I was at my local dirt track, and they had a qualifying lineup for the World 100, and I asked a guy, I said, "What is this? I've never heard of this." When I was a kid, we went to we rode dirt bikes and that kind of stuff. We didn't really, live it like them boys live it, So they just know the sport so well that they know every move that needs to be made, and they know, how to think big picture for young guys, So the intensity and the level that they're doing in that now is, I feel like, better than it's ever been. And I think, the viewership and the amount of eyes that are on our sport, those old legacies that started way back with Don O'Neill or Bob Pierce or Donnie Moran, and then the JDs, JD come from a racing family, maybe have not at that level, but then they were a bunch of racers, so I think that that's created the world we're in now, and it's a pretty good world, and it's pretty cool to be a part of it, all the way around, competing in it, or just the viewership for it, and the amount of, I believe that upper level dirt late model racing and upper level sprint car racing is, I think, the best racing in the world. But NASCAR's good. Their stuff's good too, and you're going to have 10-1 people saying that that's probably not true, or 101 maybe in some cases. But if they ever went and seen this for themselves, and they would understand these people are unbelievable at how good they are.
Todd Surprise is really good at putting up your merch page. Talk about your merchandise a little bit.
Yeah, Race Ranch handles that for me. If anybody's interested in any merchandise, they've got it, and some other drivers too. So just go to raceranch.com and or get on their Facebook page, and we got some new stuff out for our blue cars, and I'll have some. I guess I'll break this here. Nobody even knows this year, but I'm gonna go to the Dome this year. It's the first time I've ever went. So
wow,
we're gonna have some things coming out for that. So it should be some exciting stuff for the the guys that like the merchandise coming up.
You've never raced inside the Dome at the Gateway Nationals before.
Breaking news.
How about that? That'll be awesome.
Yeah, no, never have. Never have. I've got a little deal, and we're going to go about it a little different than typical. I'm not going to be running my own car, but we got some announcements there. But it's so it'll be the first time I've won, and it's just always a neat deal, but it's inconvenient for I always go to New Mexico or Arizona for the Wild West Shootout, and I'm not really that close to the Dome, so I've never actually participated in it. But this year I've going to be able to do it, and that'll be fun. And so we got that, and then we got Charlotte coming up. There's a 10,000 win at Lake Cumberland this weekend, but the weather's really bad this week, so I don't know if we'll be going to that one or not. We'll just have to see what the weather does. But the next week we're going to go to Charlotte, and then hopefully Sonoy, Georgia, the week after that, and then we'll be done for the year, and then to the Dome, and then we'll go to Arizona for the Wild West Shootout. Basically at the first of the year, we'll be cutting out here maybe on the 4th or 5th or 6th or something. It starts out there, I think, maybe the 7th or something like that. I'm not for sure the exact day, but it's the first week or two there in January.
No off season. Take a little break for Christmas. That'll be it. Hey, by the way, whose car are you driving out there at the gate? You're going to bend up a little sheet metal inside that Dome,
Yeah. I can't say just yet. We're not all the way finalized on our stuff, but I hope to be in a car there. I will be in a car there for sure. And but we'll put in a little announcement out there on that, and just here shortly once we get a few details. We got some sponsor stuff we got to work out for us. So we'll be working on that, and then but yeah, they ain't much of an off season, and but that's all right. I'm good with that. As long as the fans want to see it, I want to get out there and provide entertainment for them. So if I'll get enough when they get enough.
Yeah, when you race at the Dome at the Gateway Dirt Nationals, you can't be worried about how much sheet metal you're going to bend up, because you're going to get your car bent up when you race inside the Dome. So that's a smart move, not taking the stuff that they're going to take out to the Wild West shootout. That would not be a smart thing. So when he said that he's going to be driving somebody else's car, that's a good way to go at that event. But it'll be kind of fun to see Mike out there racing at a place he's not been to. That's a different animal out there at inside the Dome in St. Louis.
The Gateway Nationals.
But it also draws the biggest crowd of any race the whole year. They'll put 30,000+ people inside that building.
Well, we appreciate Mike breaking that news on our podcast.
Yeah.
So if you want to go back and listen to the entire Mike, we cut out some of that. And like I said, we hadn't had Mike on for about a year, so we had him that podcast about a full half hour with Mike and Landon both. So episode 383. If you're keeping score at home, you can go back and download that episode, and we appreciate you doing so. Subscribe to that page, and like you said, Mike's always a good guy, and luckily we were able to get a good almost 40 minutes out of Mike. So
wow,
we appreciate that.
Longer than I thought.
Yep, him and Landon. Landon, of course, we didn't know if we were going to have him on because we were trying to get a hold of him, so we didn't know. But when we did get him on, we kept him quite a while too. So we had him almost 25, 30 minutes as well. So the interview, you're going to hear part 2 of the Landon Crawley interview here in a little bit, but there's still quite a bit more information if you want to go on and listen to that podcast.
Yeah, we're not sure yet who we've got on this coming show. I've reached out to David Gravel. I thought I'd try to get David on before he wraps up the championship, which he's going to do. He's going to wrap up the World of Outlaws title unless something really catastrophic happens at Charlotte next weekend. Because, they got the banquet the next day, the award ceremony, so it'd be kind of hard to get him on the following Monday. So I'm going to try to get David Gravel on the show this coming Monday, 2 days from now.
Well,
but I haven't got a confirmation on that, but we're going to try.
384 coming Monday, so tune in and be ready when we'll get that bad boy downloaded in the afternoon, and you can start uploading that to you.
Yeah, we don't stream that live anymore, but we do upload it late in the afternoon on Monday.
Because we just don't. It's a hard time getting these guests on exactly the right time. That is. We
just
try.
It's a little easier.
Yeah, it's a lot less stressful when we're putting this together. When you're not relying on a live phone call to come in, and hopefully, your fingers crossed that it actually works. So, yeah, like you said, Monday will be another episode. And, man, we're getting close to the holidays, guys.
Gateway Dirt Nationals only 5 weekends from now.
Yeah.
It's December 4th through the 6th at the Dome at America Center.
Todd, who's your favorite guitar player?
Living or all time?
All time.
Well, my favorite's Eddie Van Halen, personally. That would be my go-to guy. I've got a tattoo of the Van Halen stripes on my body, so I bled the stripes. I bled the Van Halen colors.
Isn't Joe Bonamassa coming into town here in a few days?
Yeah, some pretty big hitters that have been coming through KC the last few weeks and coming up here. But, yes, sir, Joe Bonamassa and a couple of those guys. I believe Eric Johnson's going to be at Knucklehead. I saw that.
My favorite guitar player is Marcus King.
Yeah,
You and I saw him together. We went to the Marcus King concert. I'd never seen him in concert before. That was a good time, Scott.
Right.
What, a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
We sat in the balcony.
Joe.
At what's the name of that? Is it the
Uptown
Theater?
Yep.
We were in the balcony.
Joe will be here Tuesday, November 11th. At the Midland.
Wow.
So,
Kelly says Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Stevie Ray Vaughan's a good choice.
He's no longer with us, right?
Yep. A lot of guitarists.
He died in a helicopter crash.
Yep. I saw Eric Clapton 3 weeks after that. And Eric was at that gig with Eric.
I saw Eric Clapton in concert one time.
Eric was at that gig with Stevie Ray Vaughan, and Eric's manager passed away on that airplane, on that helicopter himself. Eric was a pallbearer in Stevie Ray Vaughan's funeral, and then we had tickets to see Eric Clapton at Sandstone, and it was literally just a couple weeks after that funeral, and it was his first concert playing after the funeral, and Eric Clapton was pretty emotional. He had a couple times where he stopped playing guitar and walked off the side because, you know, he lost a couple people really close to him, and as well as Stevie Ray Vaughan. So I'll never forget that concert. Eric played, I had a tribute to Stevie Ray, and it was quite emotional to see Eric play that night. So, yeah, it was.
I saw Eric Clapton in like about 1978.
You saw him during his drug years then. He was biting the demons back
Hilton
then.
Coliseum.
Yeah, he was a heroin guy there for a while. A lot of those were fighting those demons back then in the 70s. So you saw him in his heyday, slow hand tours type of.
I Shot the Sheriff.
I Shot the Sheriff. A lot of those songs, a lot of people don't know Eric Clapton didn't write a lot of those songs, you know.
Yeah.
Coles, I can't remember what the guy's first name is. He wrote a lot of those songs that Eric Clapton became famous for. So cocaine.
He was good.
Oh yeah. Yep. Well, if you want to play this interview with Landon Crowley, we can get to it if you want.
Yeah, we can go ahead and jump right in there. Hey, before we do that, let's talk about the Hall of Fame. National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum is open the year around. You don't have to wait till the season opens to go visit the Hall of Fame. The exhibits, they keep changing all the time up there, and we don't know yet what the salute is going to be in 2026, but they just got through having the Manzanita Speedway salute, and they paid tribute to all kinds of great venues, including Ascot Park and Williams Grove Speedway and the like. So they'll have new stuff planned for 2026, but you can visit the museum now. It's open 7 days a week. And while you're there, check out the gift shop. Great Christmas shopping ideas in the gift shop up there. If you want to see what they have, go to sprintcarstuff.com. And, of course, the sweepstakes are well underway. The Corvette sweepstakes is well underway for 2026. Beautiful. This is a beautiful piece, folks, and you can win this Corvette by going to winacorvette.org. The Sprint Car giveaway will be a year from this December 2026. They give away the Sprint Car once every 2 years, and so the current item is open for your registration now by going to winasprintcar.com to get registered for that. It's a race-ready 410 sprint car. So check that out. National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. A lot of great stuff to talk about there. Landon Crawley will be locked into tonight's 41-lapper at the Short Track Nationals, going for the $20,000 top prize. After finishing second in the preliminary round last night, let's listen to part 2 of our interview we did with Landon earlier this week on Mostly Motorsports. Lucas Oil Speedway was another racetrack you're really good at. As I pointed out, you had a couple of top 5 finishes at the Hockett-McMillan Memorial. Then you come back for the high limit race and get a top 10 out of there.
Yeah, that's Wheatland's definitely one of those places that I've loved that place forever. You know, my dad raced there for a long time, and he was always really successful there. And that's always been one of those tracks that I've just looked forward to going to every year, especially the Hockett. That's by far, if it's not my favorite race, it's in the top 3. And it's just, you know, I just get excited going to that place. And you know, I've always been fortunate to have speed there, and even in the 360 stuff, there's something about that place that just, you know, it works really well for me. And I've pretty much had speed every time we've been there. You know, we've had some off nights, but that's very, very few. So that place has been good to me, and I'm really excited to get back to the Hockett next year with it being a high limit race now.
Lakeside, you finished 10th, and then you end up the season at the Texas Motor Speedway dirt track with a 9th place finish. Talk about Texas Motor Speedway.
Yeah, that was a decent weekend for us. We struggled really bad the first night. I mean, we were just way off, and kind of going into it, we ran really good there earlier in the year. I think we went like 18th or 19th to 7th, something like that, and we had some really good speed there. For me, I'd never been there before that race in whatever March or May, and Johnny was always good there in the 360 stuff, but going into the first night, we kind of had pretty high expectations, and especially after the way we'd been running recently. And then we go into the first night, and just to keep it simple, we were terrible. We timed in, we weren't far from dead last. We struggled in the heat race, and we didn't gain any speed all night. So going into the second night, we just kind of had to put that behind us, and just clear your mind, go into it very open-minded, and try some things that, because it clearly didn't work the night before, and everything kind of, it just clicked. We didn't time in, phenomenal, but we were able to pick up a couple spots in the heat race, and just kind of maintain in the feature. I mean, the track was a little different than kind of what we'd seen before, so I mean, it was just another solid night for us. I mean, wasn't any interesting storylines to it, just a very smooth, no stress night, and that's kind of all you can ask for, really.
All right, what's it like racing for Johnny Herrera, a legend?
There's nights where it can be pretty tough. Everybody that's a part of the team is really competitive, and everybody wants to run good. So you have a night where you're struggling and you're barely running 20th. Those nights are pretty tough, but when you do run good, it's very rewarding. And Johnny, he's benefited me a ton. He's not just a crew chief. He's just a good life coach. He teaches me things that are very non-racing related that kind of translate to racing, and kind of just the mindset of it. He gets my head in the right spot, and it's honestly the same thing with my crew guy Taylor. They're both really good, I feel like, in the mental side of the sport, and just keeping your head clean, and not getting down, and just staying up is kind of the biggest thing that I've gained from them. And keeping your head down and just keep digging into the game is the biggest thing that I've taken away from this year. But it's been a ton of fun working with Johnny, and we've spent the last pretty much 8 months together, so we've gotten pretty close, and it's really cool to be able to race with somebody that's been around the sport as long as he has, and he's done it forever. So I mean, he's got plenty of knowledge, and he's definitely a solid crew chief.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be pretty valuable. A guy of his experience behind the wheel of a race car, how much you can learn from that. I would think that would be huge.
Yeah, for sure. And it was kind of the same situation for me last year with Jay.
Yeah.
I would say that I gained a little bit more racing with Johnny, and of course, no offense to Jay, nothing like that. It's just how the cards fell. I was kind of around a little bit more with Johnny, and it's just he wants the best for me more than he wants the best for his team, and that to me goes a long way. He wants me to succeed, and I'm extremely grateful, and I'm just really appreciative for the opportunity that he gave me. He never even had to put me in his race car, but he knew that I was kind of in a bad spot early in the year, and he kind of wanted to make a change, and I had to make a change. So I just got really fortunate that everything kind of fell into place for me, and now we're here.
When you're out there with Sides in 2024 on the World of Outlaw Tour, what did you learn the most being out full-time on the World of Outlaws at such a young age?
Man, I wish I could give you a specific answer, but honestly, I learned life, basically. I mean, I wouldn't even say the racing was hardly a part of it, but I mean, I was just turned 16, and I'm full-time on the road. I barely even have my driver's license, and I'm I'm in Florida and I hadn't been home in forever. So that was kind of probably the toughest thing for me, was just learning life. And, the stuff that you wouldn't think about going into it, of course, when you're going into the year, all you're thinking about is racing, not all the time off that you have away from racing, and just the way that you're going to live it was kind of almost a culture shock for me. I'd never experienced anything like that. So going into it, it was, at first everything just kind of smooth sailing. Then you get into the, middle parts of the year where you're in Pennsylvania and New York, and you're not close to anything. And it's just, that was the biggest thing for me, was just learning life.
Yeah, it had to be a culture shock in many ways. What kind of experience was that with Jason Sides out there in that kind of an environment, trying to learn? What was the most you learned besides just life itself about the race cars?
It was definitely, it was a really good year for me, and it was good. It was a good thing for me to go and do. I definitely feel like I probably could have waited a year or two, but just the way my situation was going into it, I kind of didn't have much of a choice. If I wanted to race, I kind of had to commit. So, there's so many things that I could tell you about the year. But just, keeping it simple, the biggest beneficiary thing that happened to me was just going to, so many different racetracks and meeting so many different really, really good people. I had a lot of people support me through the year, and there was just a lot of really good places that I got to see, with Dave Lunster in South Dakota and Sam with JVI in Pennsylvania. I got to spend a ton of time with those two people that and these are guys that have been around the sport for a long time, and they've been around people in the sport that are way higher up than I'll ever know. And it's cool to get to meet people with so much, these are people that you don't even know exist. And you walk in and you see Donnie Schatz standing in the corner talking to Doug Wolfgang at Dave Lunster's shop, and you're like, how did I, of all people, end up here? So it's really cool to get to experience some of those things. And, you can take it with you and go back on it and tell these stories 20 years from now. So it's pretty awesome.
And we haven't even talked about your dad yet and what an influence he has to be on your whole racing career. Tim Crawley has got a legendary career of his own. What did you learn most from your dad?
Oh man, I wish I could tell you what I learned most, but I kind of learned everything from him.
Yeah.
When I first started racing sprint cars, it was just me and him, and then we went and did the ASCS tour for a year where he had a couple of guys helping on his stuff, but for my car, it was also just me and him. So, racing with my dad was, I still wish I could do it. I enjoy racing with him, and well, I say I enjoy it. Most nights I enjoy racing with him. I'm not going to say every night, but I think that's a family thing. But, I still wish that I could, spend a full year with my dad, kind of in the same situation I'm in right now, but have him there to, I feel like my dad could be a really good crew chief. He's so super smart. He takes knowledge from cars that do not compare to sprint cars at all, and he makes it compare. So, just having, the experience that he's had in every type of different race car, and just the places he's been and what he's been through in his career, it's really beneficial for me to have that kind of in my back pocket. And, honestly, I'd do about anything to have him go on the road with me for a full year. I think my results would improve quite tremendously.
This week, he's no doubt looking at the weather forecast. I'm seeing that pretty optimistic forecast for Texarkana. He's taken on the short track nationals at Texarkana, where he's promoted the track for the last couple of years. I'm looking at a pretty favorable forecast. Finally, are we going to get this in this weekend?
Man, I really hope so. He's been working super hard trying to get this race in. For the last 3 years, I'm pretty sure it's rained out, and I hate to see it because I know how much work goes into that place, and I was even there for a year. So it's very, it'll beat you down really bad when you put that much effort into something just for it to not happen. So I think we're going to get it in this year. I'm actually on the way down there right now. So but it's looking good. I think it's still going to be a really good show. You know, with the reschedule, we're gonna lose a couple of cars and we're gonna gain a couple of cars. That's kind of just part of it. But I think the biggest thing is just getting the race in right now. You know, you gotta get it back on the map and turn it back into what it used to be. You know, short track was kind of one of those races that everybody knew about, everybody looked forward to it, and it just ended up losing that with I-30 shutting down. So I'm really excited for it. I'm excited to get to race it, and it should be really good.
Yeah, I mean, just trying to get it reestablished at a different venue where it had 37 years at one racetrack to build that back up. Quite a challenge after it being rained out the last 2 years to get it back up and going again. I think you said it right. Just get it on, get the event in, and then you can grow it from there, right?
Yeah, 100%. I think if the race can just happen, whether it's an amazing show or not, I think that's at least a start. And honestly, that's kind of just all it needs right now. I feel like it's just a start. You know, it's the race pays good. There's a ton of upsides to it, and there's a ton of potential for it. It has to happen first. So just getting this weekend in and making sure everything goes smooth, and hopefully we get a really good fan count to the point where it can grow into next year, and maybe 2026 can be an even bigger version of it. So that's kind of all we're shooting for right now, is just getting the race in.
Friday and Saturday night. So the plan for 2026 is to keep on doing what you're doing right now with Johnny?
I mean, I really hope so. Right now, we're not completely to that point yet. We've kind of just started discussing, how we're going to make everything work again for next year, and I'd love to stay there. I can't say for sure if that's what's going to happen. I mean, but that's the ultimate goal, is stay where we're at, and we've been running too good, I feel like, to kind of just split up. So we'll see. I mean, I'm not for sure what's going to happen yet, but that is for sure the goal.
That's Landon Crawley joining us on Mostly Motorsports.
That answer gave me a little bit of pause there. It's kind of an uncertainty there, the way he answered that question there. He's hoping that it continues, but really not sure.
Yeah,
so I was kind of surprised to hear him lay it out that way. But.
Yeah, I thought the same thing when I heard that, but if you listen to the interview earlier, they talk all the time, and I don't know, it sounded more... The ending sounded a little less convincing than it did earlier on. So, yeah, I agree with you, Kurt.
Well, again, Johnny Herrera is a guy that's used to winning. He wants to go out and win races. And, hey, if you're out there winning races, it can start tonight at the Short Track Nationals.
Yeah,
and
he's got as good a chance as anybody tonight.
You can last a long time if you're out there winning races. So I think Landon's going to do that. And he's really grown. You can see the progress throughout the course of the season, Scott. I mean, at the beginning of the year, they were really out there struggling. But I think since August on, they've really stepped it up a notch or two. And we really saw that at Wheatland at the Jesse Hawk and Daniel McMillan Memorial. He qualified well, ran up front. And that's really all you ask right now is progress. And boy, he could really top off 2025 with a big win tonight. I think he's got a really good shot at doing that. So let's hope that things continue on with Landon Crawley. Good guy. Appreciate him having on. Next weekend, the Power I-410 series will be wrapping up the season at Texas Motor Speedway dirt track. That'll be a Friday and Saturday night show. And as we look at the point standings right now for the Power I-410 wing sprint cars, Ayrton Geniton, going for another championship, has a 320-point lead over Joe B. Miller. It's over. Ayrton Geniton's going to be the champion. Joe B. Miller Xavier Doney, Scotty Milan, and Gage Montgomery in the top 5. Of course, Gage, he's racing at Wheatland tonight, and we'll see how he does. And tonight at Short Track Nationals, it'll be on Flow Racing. We see Race On is kind of producing the coverage. I was impressed with the announcers last night. I don't know who these guys are, but I thought they did a really good job.
Yeah, it was a pretty good job.
Dual announcers, and I thought they were really good at the Short Track Nationals.
Yeah,
So.
it was a good call last night. We watched the highlight package. I watched. It was pretty good stuff. So,
Also next weekend, it'll be the World Finals at Charlotte. David Gravel leads by 138 points over Buddy Kofoid. It's over. David Gravel can start celebrating now if he hasn't already. But you know David Gravel, he's not celebrating yet.
no, he will. I remember when we had him on the. He basically said we had it wrapped up, but he didn't. He didn't want to talk about that at all.
No. So, but anyway, we're going to try to get David on the show Monday. If hopefully he can join us, and we're going to see who wins tonight at the Short Track Nationals. So tune in Monday. We'll tell you who we've got on. We'll have a couple of guests lined up. Bobby Pierce leads the World of Outlaw late model standings by 124 points over Nick Hoffman. Ryan Gustin is third, Tim McCready fourth, and Dennis Erb fifth. I think I really believe Bobby Pierce can celebrate now.
Yeah. Maybe we get Bobby on. He's come on a couple times. It's been a while.
Has it been a while?
It's been a while.
Yeah, we'll see. If we don't get David Gravel on, we'll see if we get Bobby Pierce on. But we'll make that happen. Also, they got the big block modifieds at Charlotte next weekend. Matt Williamson, this smaller lead, 98-point lead over Alex Yankowski for the big block modifieds. You're not big into the big block modifieds, are you? You know, I enjoy watching them because they're big blocks. You know, kind of a throaty sound that they sit in the center of these cars. I think I don't watch a lot of it because they're basically a Northeast culture, the big block modifieds. They race out on those tracks out in New York State and New Jersey and places like that. And I think probably the only time I really watch these guys is the World Finals. But, you know, the coolest thing about that event next weekend is when they line up all three classes in a four-breast and have a parade lap around the track.
Yeah, that's cool.
They do the sprint cars, the late models, and the big block modifieds, and they do that pace lap with everybody lined up in a four-breast. That is the coolest sight the whole year.
Yeah, that is pretty cool looking when you see that.
The one thing they started to get right a little bit, I know they did a year ago, is getting the track right at Charlotte. For many years, it would kind of tend to take on rubber and slick off. One year, it got so foggy you couldn't see, that got so dusty that you couldn't see what was going on. Last year's track was as good as it's been. Let's hope that the racetrack is in good shape next weekend to provide some good racing, which, by the way, at Texarkana last night, I thought the track conditions were great. It was compelling racing. Guys were weaving in and out of traffic. And so Tim Crawley and his crew down there, you know, the one good thing that you need to have to build an event is get the track surface right.
Right.
And I thought they did that at Texarkana last night. So I'm expecting a good race tonight. Let's just hope in years in the future that they can get the proper date and start building this thing up where you see a few more stars show up at this event. I think trying to grow it to the level that we saw at I-30 Speedway over the years, that's going to take a lot of time to do that. But I think it's got a possibility to get it. They got the event. They finally got some good weather this weekend, got it up and going. Even though it's not the most stellar field that you would expect in an event like this, we see a good race tonight and a compelling finish. I think that's something to build on for next year. Don't you think?
Absolutely.
28 cars.
Yeah, not enough. Not enough for this event.
Yeah,
They need
Landon
more.
he even talked about it though in that interview that they knew they were going to lose some for being the reschedule.
Well, it
and
was a rescheduled date.
So-
I thought they'd get more drivers because it was kind of an off weekend. There was nothing else scheduled. But I
Yeah.
think a lot of these teams were just fearful of traveling a long distance, not knowing for sure if it was going to get in. Don't you think?
Yep.
And you need more than 2 nights, a preliminary night. Now, the feature paid $20,000 to win, but the total payout was not all that big. So if you're going to expect guys to travel in from long distances at a track, a lot of them probably have never competed at, I think the first thing is get it up and going. You get some good word of mouth coming out of tonight, get some good races. People will tune in to watch. They see, hey, this looks like a pretty good thing. I think I'll go there next year. But get the right date on the calendar. They moved it to earlier in October in years past. And I'm not so sure, Scott, if it might not be wise to go back to a 360 event for this. What do you think? Move it back to the 360 cars.
That would be good.
Because this is the first time it's been a 410 since the early days. And that's where it had a lot of the success, and with the success of the ASCS National Tour and what it's doing right now, that making this a crown jewel on that series, I think might be the way to go. So I would revisit that, look at it, and see if 410 was really the wise decision to go here, and maybe return it to a 360 event. I'd think about it. I'd hope they'd look at that. So anyway, let's hope we see a good race tonight down at Texarkana. We'll be watching to see who walks out of there with the big money tonight. World Series, Todd, who's going to win tonight?
I'm hoping Toronto picks this thing up just because I don't like...
My daughter's rooting for the Dodgers.
I don't like teams that spend billions of dollars to play a game that other teams...
Now, which of your daughters is a Dodger fan? Is that Tori?
Tori.
Tori's a Dodger fan?
Yep.
They would repeat for the first time that anybody's repeated, and since the Yankees did it?
Yeah, I'm going with... I want the home team to win.
I think
tonight.
Toronto's going to win this.
Yeah, I'm hoping for
I'm betting on Toronto tonight. Who's going to start for the Dodgers? Is it Ohtani?
Well, they'll probably throw everything out, right?
Everybody's
available when it's the World Series.
Everybody's
Game
available
7.
tonight.
That's how it works in Game 7s. It's everybody.
Wouldn't that be that Max Scherzer, who's played on how many different World Championship teams now, play a factor tonight for the Blue Jays, right? It was a couple of years ago. He was at Texas. And
Texas.
He was at Washington.
Traveling man.
He's played for a lot of different championship teams, hasn't he?
He's been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man.
I think this has been a good. It's been a good World Series. I've kind of enjoyed. Well, I don't care who wins.
I don't care either.
I don't care.
So we got championships tonight for NASCAR.
Got football going on.
We got football. Kirk's got a game here in a little bit, and I tell you what, between
my
that,
Cyclones not doing good. They've lost 3 in a row now.
Well,
Arizona State at home. Let's see if they can pull it off today at noon. I don't know. I'm not feeling too good about my Cyclones right now.
well, tune in Monday. Listen to the podcast. We should have it up in the afternoon, right around 4 o'clock our time.
So Chiefs get it done tomorrow or not?
Oh, it's a toss-up game. When you play in Buffalo, you don't. It's in Buffalo. They're throwing. It's kind of like we were talking about. You just throw everything at it. They're going to be throwing everything at the Chiefs tomorrow.
This will be the last time they play in their old
That's
stadium.
right. This is the
they
last.
Got a new stadium.
They got a
next
new
year.
stadium. They're building it, and it's almost done. Like it's nearly complete from what I saw. So should be a good game tomorrow. So got racing tonight.
Chiefs are doing good, man.
Got some Chiefs game tomorrow. I'm sure it's going to be a.
I'm going to say Denny Hamlin finally gets it done.
I'm going to go with the Hendricks cars, and I don't know who, but one of two. I'm sure Larson will be the one out of the two to to get it. So
I'm going to pick Connor Zilic to win tonight in the Xfinity.
yeah, you've already won 11 races or 10 races.
He deserves it.
He deserves it. So should be a good race for us to watch tonight. So thanks for tuning in today. It's been fun, man.
Yeah,
been
Scott,
a good show.
What do you think? What are you doing today? Don't forget to move the clocks back.
I'm going to watch TV.
Yeah.
Yep, don't forget to fall back. Get those clocks switched back tonight.
I guess when you move the clock back, does that mean you would be late or early? I'm confused. Is it better to move it? You get an extra night of sleep.
Yeah, but if you don't set your clock back, you're an hour late.
That's
to everything.
It. So you better make sure the clocks get set.
Get your set
right.
You don't want to be late.
Yeah. Thanks, Todd, for everything you do.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
And we'll be here on Monday. Join us then. For Scott Traylor, I'm Kirk Elliott. We're the Racing Boys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you again next week right here on Track Talk.
Go harder, faster, stronger with Rod End Supply. Whether you are running industrial, farming equipment, or a race car, Rod End Supply has the assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products that will help you lead the field in performance. Our superior design means our rod ends last longer and perform better, giving you the edge on the track and saving you money. Contact Rod End Supply or order online today at rodendsupply.com. We don't just sell them, we race them. rodendsupply.com. Serving the racing community for over 30 years.